All right, thanks, Jenny. So at 3D Biofiber, we're focused on the manufacturing of biopolymer fibers. Biopolymer fibers are a critical part of the structure within and around many living organisms. Collagen is a key example, which makes up the majority of the extracellular matrix in humans, as well as spider silk is another example of a biopolymer fiber that's used within an animal's environment. These fibers have a ton of applications in various industries, medical applications in the development of tissue engineering and regenerative medicine devices, sustainable food and cultured meat, where a scaffold is key from moving from a ground meat like beyond to something that is an actual steak. Aerospace and defense, where these materials can be used to replace petroleum for a biodegradable alternative, and sustainable textiles, where the application is quite similar of reducing the carbon footprint of that industry. But the reason these materials are not used today is that biopolymer fibers cannot be synthetically produced at scale. So while we can source the polymers either from the animals or recombinantly make them, making the fibers is not possible at a commercial throughput. That's the problem that we've solved at 3D Biofiber. We have a patent issued dry spinning technology to produce biopolymer fibers at scale. And our main focus is on collagen fiber production for biomedical applications. The way the technology works is really quite simple. If you imagine I have glue between my fingers and I pull my fingers apart, you would imagine how that would form a fiber between my fingers. We use the same basic physics, but instead of using a glue, we use a collagen solution. And then as shown in this video, we apply that solution to a substrate. We contact it with the pin array. And as we remove the pin array, each pin forms a fiber. And we've actually fully automated this now, so we can make thousands of these fibers at a time, deposit them onto a rotating substrate, and by controlling the rotation of the substrate between deposition events, we can additively manufacture scaffolds where we can control the thickness, the porosity, and the overall architecture. The consistency of the materials we make is quite good. We always source GMP inputs and then manufacture in a fully automated way, so the batch-to-batch consistency is quite high. And we have a lot of control over the key mechanical and chemical composition. On the mechanical side, we can control the handleability, the suture retention strength. And then on the chemical side, a key consideration is the biodegradability for different applications in the body. So tuning that from the scale of hours to even months, as well as tuning the incorporation of various active pharmaceutical agents or APIs, which we can load directly into the fibers for release in clinical applications. We're certainly not the first to try and spin biopolymer fibers. Wet spinning and electrospinning have been used here for well over 50 years. But what differentiates our technology at 3D Biofiber is our unique ability to combine high strength, where we preserve the biopolymer structure and drive its natural self-assembly. So the materials we make are up to 2 to 3 times stronger than their natural counterparts, such as in collagen. Our scale, our throughput is over 1,000 meters a second, which is 3,600 times higher than other technologies. So for the first time, we really match quality and scale for commercial applications. And our technology is the only one that can get the right structure for these fibers. And as you know, in biological settings, structure and function are so closely linked. And in terms of the IP protection, we have 4 patent families covering our processes and materials. The core patent family is now issued in the US and in Europe, and then prosecution on the others is ongoing, having just been filed within the last 2 to 3 years. So as a business, we are focused on partnering initially in medical applications because they are relatively small volume, high margin applications. And within biomedicine, we say we work from bench to bedside. And what I mean by that is we've launched 2 products for non-clinical research, specifically in 3D bioprinting and 3D cell culture. We have developing applications for bioreactor expansion of cells, but growingly, our focus is shifting to the clinical side, where we're getting a lot of partnership traction in applications of surgical materials, such as peripheral nerve repair, hernia repair, and suture materials, as well as in cell therapies, where scaffolds are being used to actually anchor cell therapies onto the site of the injury, allowing the cells to integrate with the ECM for better uptake by the body. Overall, we have over 20 ongoing clinical partnership discussions right now, so a fairly wide pipeline. We have 3 signed deals and 5 engagements that are paid for development, so we're generating revenue in developing those technologies. And the way that we're able to manage such a broad focus is through a business model that's focused exclusively on partnering. So in all of these clinical applications, we are not doing full product development from start to end and then taking on regulatory. Instead, we're finding partners that require a biomaterial, and then 3D Biofiber will optimize the biomaterial and scale the manufacturing to meet peak market demand. And then the partner will take on final product development, regulatory, and distribution. By doing so, we take a minority position in each deal, but it allows us to partner the technology widely across the industry, maximizing the full value we can extract from our platform. And just to give you one example of the 20 that I've talked about, this is a signed deal in the peripheral nerve repair space with a company called Renerve. They're an Australian company with an approved nerve graft on the market for peripheral nerve repair. But the challenge in the peripheral nerve space is that they can't treat injuries that are larger than a centimeter. With our collagen fibers, we've shown that cells will actually migrate, driven by the fiber and our ability to preserve the collagen structure and provide the right overall fiber structure. And now what we're doing with Renerve is coating their graft with a parallel array of our fibers, such that when that is wrapped around a peripheral nerve, the cells from the nerve ends can attach to the fibers and crawl across the gap. And we're hoping that our prototype, which is going into a large animal study this quarter, can show that we can treat injuries that are well beyond that 1 centimeter gap, either reaching sort of 2 to 3 centimeters is the goal. Oh, sorry, my slides just went back there. I'm just going to skip forward to the next slide. And just to summarize, on our financing, we've raised about 4.1 million in equity to date, and we're currently raising a $3 million seed 2 round, of which we have 2 million committed. So we're looking for the final 1 million to close the round out. And the use of proceeds here is largely focused on our quality management system and transitioning to ISO 13485 so we can be a qualified supplier into medical applications. And we actually have a few deals that are baking based on our pathway to ISO. So until we can close the deal and have a clear runway, they're not going to get across the line. So that's part of the urgency of signing the deal, but closing the round, but also some immediate impact of us closing the round. We'll be able to close more partnerships for our business. So I'll stop there. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks, Jenny, for having me. And I'll stick around in case there are any questions in the Q&A chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. Significant improvement, milestone reached since last I've seen. Very good.
Appreciate it, Jenny. Thank you.